So, Crystal, you are my sister. But technically, you are my stepsister. We're going to go book buys, but we don't say that in this house. We met you came into our life when you were what, 8 years old?
Yeah.
8 years old, and I remember your ponytail to your side.
That's funny.
It's true. Your ponytail to the side, and I remember you coming in, and I remember you being so quiet. And you had me, Landa, and Kia. Here we are, sisters already. We've been together for years. And then you come into the mix. How was it coming into that environment? Being the child that was on the outside, now you're jumping in. And I know me and Landa have really big dominant personalities. And I know Kia required a lot of attention. How was it for you coming in?
I think it was a pretty smooth transition. I always wanted sisters. I always wanted a sibling. I was a only child for 8 years. And I remember, this is why I always say be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. I remember 2 things I wished for as a child. And I can vividly remember laying in bed at night and being like, I wish. Was boobs. I wanted to have boobs. And I wanted to have siblings. I wanted a sister or a brother, mostly a sister. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
You have all of the above.
Yeah, and I got that and then some. And that, so yeah, it was exciting for me. But at the same time, I don't know if it was exciting for you all, because you guys had so much going on already that I don't think I don't feel like you could, we were more friends in the beginning. Of course, absolutely, but there was a lot going on in you all's lives, so I kind of had to sit back and watch and kind of just try and understand. But I felt like it was nice to have friends, like people in the house.
What did you see from the outside looking in when it came to us and what we were dealing with?
Trauma. I knew it was trauma. I knew it was something that was negative that was happening to you all. And I knew coming in that I couldn't be selfish. To me, I was like, you can't be selfish about this.
But you were 8.
I know. Insightful, right? 1, this is what you asked for. 2, because I know you want to be like play, we're sisters all the time, but they are dealing with something very traumatic, and so you can't be selfish about that, and you can't. For me, I thought to myself, I didn't want to be that kid that was kind of like, this is my mom, and you guys aren't, my actual siblings. Like, I wanted to embrace it, but I knew that I couldn't be selfish about wanting to be playful and the siblings that I thought of in my head, because you guys are going through a lot, and it was a traumatic situation, and I just kind of had to be there. And I didn't know what was happening, really. I just knew that it was something that wasn't none of my business, and I should just kind of play the background and let this happen the way it's going to happen, and not be an extra burden on top of that.
I can't.
Right.
You were 8.
I was 8.
That's hilarious.
Well, I'm looking back on it.
I just thought you were quiet. I just thought you. Honestly.
And I am quiet. I am quiet till I get to know you, and I'm also amenable. I think it's more the word.
I know what you're saying.
Kind of like, I can do it. Whatever environment you put me in, I can pretty much acclimate to it. And if I just have to play the background, then I will. If I have to if I have to kind of be the quiet kid that's just gonna kind of help everybody out and be lovely or pleasing, then I'll do that. And I have no problem with that. That's pretty much my demeanor, my personality anyway.
Did you ever had any resentment that you had to share your mom with all these people?
No, honestly. To me, I didn't. I think as I got older, the need to kind of find myself became more the journey for me, was for me to get away and go, like, because as you get older, you kind of start to, I think getting into teenage years, I felt like, well, you have other people, so you don't really need me around. You know, like, I was like, especially with my mom, because we got out of the situation, like, we parted our ways, and then she had Kara. So then she met JD, and it was kind of like, well, here I am again, kind of playing the background, because
Aww.
you have a life. You have a life that you're living. You have a new child. And it wasn't anything. It was just kind of like, here we are
progress
again.
of
Yeah,
life.
like, here we are again. So as you get older, when you think of, like, being 18, it's like, okay, well, I need to go find myself. I need to go find... And my mom is my best friend, and she was always that, and she was never not that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, and I'm still me, and I still kind of have to go off and, like...
Find your own way.
Find my own way. That's how it felt. I'm not saying that's what it was. And then I don't feel like my mom ever neglected me in any way. But it got to the point where I just kind of was like, I need to go do something and see.
Yourself.
Yeah, and you have things. Not that you ever,
How did she, I know that while you were growing up, I was growing up on my own, and I had left the house.
Mm.
So we didn't really become close. Because you had came in, I was still kind of feeling myself, and I was out in the streets.
Right.
And I don't think we really started growing a relationship until like recently. Like
Right.
you were my sister, you are my sister,
Mhm.
but I didn't start getting to know you as a person until recently.
Yeah, and I think that's just my personality, where if you don't ask, I'm not going to tell, kind of thing. Where if you don't ask me, I won't say anything. And that's not like I don't feel a resentment about it. I just know that about myself. And like, I'm not the kind of person who's going to give you all this,
Yeah.
and you didn't ask for it. If you ask, I'll give you. I'll tell you what you want to know. I don't have a problem with that. It's just you didn't ask.
How do you feel? I know that our youngest sister, Kara, both you and Kara moved back in with mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And how does it feel to have that type of thing? Because when y'all see each other, y'all act like you ain't never seen each other before.
I love it. I love it. When I think about it, I left when I was 18. I left San Diego when I was 18 and moved to Los Angeles to go to California State University, Northridge. And she was 5. And that was the last time I was in the house with her on a regular basis. And she was up until she was 5 years old.
For some reason, I thought you were gone before she was born. I don't know why I thought that.
No, because it was like, she was sometimes with daddy and then she was sometimes with us. And so it was kind of like, excuse me, I was with her from a baby until we were in Atlanta, and then we moved to San Diego, and the whole time. Until she was 5.
How did you feel about giving up everything in Los Angeles to come to San Diego, where we were? You didn't think anything about
Like I said, I was very excited to have siblings. Like, I loved having friends. As far as like birthdays and things like that, I always had like a slumber party or some type of party and I loved being at Ms. Elsie's house, where there was always a bunch of kids. So to be at home and already not have to travel or not have to ask to like spend the night, or I not have to ask to hang out with these people. I just wanted to have them there. Was nice. It was nice that, like, going in, that's the only thing I could think of was like, you're gonna have playmates right there all the time.
All the time. You and Kia used to be like this.
Yeah. Tight.
You and Kia were really, really, really close.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember y'all had the room together.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would always go looking for you. You go looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys were really, really close.
Yep.
Well, how'd you feel when mommy moved to Atlanta?
When we moved to Atlanta, honestly, I really don't remember if I had any.
It was such a quick moment.
It was such a quick moment, and it was literally like, if my mom's going, we going. Like, what do I want to do? Stay? Like, like, I'm happy that Atlanta sounds like a fun place. I don't know what I left behind. I had some friends out here. I was in high school, so I had a lot of friends, but I'm like always open for something new. I'm always open for an adventure or to try something out. As a kid, I remember kind of being like, oh, the country, that's different. I'm native Californian,
Right.
Born and raised, so it's something different. Like a country, wow, maybe it'll be nice. I don't know. I'm 14. Like, so I don't know.
I was expecting to go into this conversation that you would hold a little bit more resentment because you're so quiet.
Right.
So I'm had this whole thing, like, maybe she didn't want to do all these things because she's quiet. She's not saying anything. And to know that you're like, I don't care. Like, let's do it.
Honestly, I don't remember ever feeling like I lost something.
You just felt like you gained.
I felt like I gained, or I felt like, well, this is my life now. Like, what can I do? you know, like, and I never felt like, I guess I can say this now. If you ask me this at 25, I might have a different answer for you. At 40, I can speak from a different headspace. But yeah, I don't ever remember feeling, at least if you're just asking me about moves and transitions. In those transitions, there's never really anything that I felt like I lost ever. There wasn't a time where I was like, oh, I miss LA so much. I miss my people. Like,
yeah.
Like I said, I was very excited to have siblings. We lived in an apartment, so going to San Diego, living in a house.
Yeah.
And I got a yard and mom and a dad. And, like, and yes, I was a little brat of an 8-year-old, and I could be bratty, especially to daddy sometimes. But I think that was just growing pains. Yeah.
It is what it is.
But yeah, it was kind of like, that's cool. Just going into it, thinking of it, you know? It was like, I have no problem with that. I have zero problem with that. That sounds like...
When people talk about blending families together, they always talk about how bad it is. You know, how tough it is, how difficult it is, how everybody just, you know, just all the difficulties. And we never had that.
I don't think so.
I don't think we ever had that at all. I think it just was one of those, okay, so we're family now.
Yeah.
That's it. And then in retrospect, I realized the little things that we did have, that was just what happens in every family.
Yeah.
Like, you know you have a sister, but you don't really know them as a person.
Right.
Until you get older and you start reaching out to them. You know you got a dad and you know you got a mom, but you don't know them as a person until they're just mom and dad.
Until you get older and you start to,
So just recently you moved from LA to Dallas. What made you come to Dallas?
Mom.
Just to be close to mom?
Yeah, be close to mom. I think I'm getting older. We're all getting older.
And she just had a birthday?
Older. I did have a birthday.
40 years old?
Oh.
Claim it.
Yeah, I'm getting older and I wanted to be closer to family. I think it was time. LA was fun. It's always my home. I love Los Angeles, but I think it was just time to kind of be closer to your family. I came out here with the claim, leaving Los Angeles, like, I'll be back, don't worry.
Yeah.
Just because I hate goodbyes and I didn't want to do the whole, like, goodbye party kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, and I would like to return to LA. I don't think it's going to be as soon as I hoped. And it's not that I'm going to be with mommy the whole time.
Of course.
I would like to explore more of what's out there other than Los Angeles, you know?
Do you think Dallas is going to be your home for a while?
I don't know. It's not as awful so far as I thought it was going to be. I think there's more to do than I thought, especially in Dallas. There's a lot more black people, I think, than I thought there was going to be, especially in Dallas. And I guess looking for a tribe and just like a new kind of lifestyle.
It's a new 40-year-old lifestyle. It's different. As you get older, it's harder to connect with people. And you got to switch up, like, okay, now I'm 40, what am I supposed to be doing now?
Yeah.
You want to do the same things you did before, but it just doesn't feel right. Like, I used to hang out and drink and party and go sit up in people's houses.
Yeah.
But I was like, I won't do that no more. So what do I do now?
I'm like, I want to do that less.
Yes.
And I wanted more of something else. Like, that I have no problem with, but it was just, like, kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking, like, I want to do more. Like, I want to be traveling, or I want to be with my family right now, or I want to be traveling with my family, you know? Like, I want to be elsewhere, doing something else, and at least every so often, instead of just going to work and then hanging out at the friend's house and then going to work and then, you know, and doing that whole thing. And if that's what it is, that's what it is, and I don't mind. But I have to at least explore the option of more.
I know that you started a ASMR page.
I did.
So, and I know you're just getting started with that. And I'm telling you, once you get started with TikTok, it's all.
I know.
It's addictive. It really is.
It is. I got to sit my butt down and do it more because I really do love it. I really do just love watching it. So.
What is it about watching it?
I don't know. It's so relaxing to me. It's really therapeutic. Yeah, it is.
I heard that's what it is. It kind of does like a brain tingle type of thing.
Yeah, I get it. It's like the girls who get it. You know, it's like
I don't get it.
It's something that it's just something that happens for you, and if it happens for you, then you love it.
What is, to backtrack a little bit, what is some advice that you would give to families blending? Because you handled it so well. We all handled it so well. My advice would be, you know, you got to learn how to share.
Yeah. Everything.
You got to learn how to share.
Share everything. You got to learn how to share all of you and all of the things you consider yours. Yeah, I would think you have to be open-minded and have an open heart and just be ready for whatever comes and take it day by day. Everything you got forever with these people now. So
yeah, if it's done right, it is.
Yeah, if it's done right, it's forever. And at the same time, like I said, I sat in my bed and cried and wished for siblings by myself in my little room.
You wished up 4. You literally wished up 4.
I wished up 4, and yeah. So going in, I was excited, and I kind of grew up in like that sharing mentality, and that it's not always all about me. And I think mommy just raised me that way to kind of be very open to other people and welcoming and amenable.
So, what was it like moving to a military base? Coming from, an apartment in LA, coming to a military base. It's one of those things that it's a different experience.
It was a great childhood. I think that it put me in a space to have like a really talked about rich childhood, like the get in the house before the lights turn on and going and exploring out in the streets, because we were in a neighborhood, it was a home, it was a neighborhood, and it felt safe.
Right.
Because it was a shared kind of community and a shared kind of idea that everyone here is doing something in the military, you know?
Right.
So I had a lot of fun as a child living, and I wish I could have had it longer than I did. Aww. I wish that I would have been able to travel with you all, because I hear I meet kids that grew up in the military, people that grew up in the military housing, or just like with the military parent. Yeah. And they had such a great time. They got to travel a lot. They're a lot of well-rounded people. Yes. And they have great memories, and I have great memories from living in military housing in Murphy Canyon. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I had some of my best friends. We would get on our bikes and just go ride away.
You just could.
Yeah. It's like Stranger Things.
All day long.
It
really
ride
was.
off and get into mischief and drop your bike and walk into the canyon.
That's it. Went in the canyon. We would go down the pickleweeds. We would be in people's houses.
Backyard.
In their backyard. It just got me, and I didn't realize it until I left the military base. Race wasn't an issue.
No,
it wasn't something that you talked about. It was like I know that you're different, because when I go to your mom's house, they speak a different language.
Right.
And I know that, you dressed up one time, you had on this different outfit, but for the most part, it wasn't a thing that it wasn't something that kept us apart.
Yes.
Everybody dated everybody hung out with everybody.
Out for everybody's kids.
That's it. I think being a military brat gives you a sense of adaptability and just a level of understanding for other people.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
You know how to talk to people. You know how to, be in a room and be seen, or fall back in a room and have no issue with it. You learn how to talk to different people on different levels. And it was a great experience. I'm glad I'm a military brat.
Yeah.
You don't realize, like you say, you don't realize how lucky you are.
How significant of an experience it is, because you have a parent that serves for the United States of America, and that's wild.
One of Daddy's life's regrets is selling that house.
Really?
Yeah, because by the time that house, I think they bought it for like $200.
Yeah.
And when that boom happened, that house would have been worth $500-600.
I know.
It's probably worth more than that now.
Moved to Atlanta.
Exactly. And we all know why he moved to Atlanta.
Why?
Because it's hot Atlanta.
Oh,
he came to visit, and that was it.
He was like, "Hoo-hoo, I'll be back. I will be back."
That's how it got me. When I went to go visit him, I said, "Hoo-hoo,
I will be back.
I will be back." You better believe 6 months later, I moved.
I love Atlanta.